Fishing Creek Elementary School in Harrisburg, PA, and we're installing an Eco Ductless system, high efficiency heat pump system that does simultaneous heating and cooling. And right now we're just kind of looking at the rough end on some of the solenoid boxes that control the air handlers. And what's really neat about these solenoid boxes is we'll be able to pump the system down if we should have a problem with any one of the air handlers, so we wouldn't have to recover 30-40 pounds of refrigerant for the entire system. And it's great for the technicians to be able to come in, get out, get repairs done.
So this is kind of like a parallel refrigeration system?
Very much. Actually, what it'll do is rooms that are calling for cooling, as they're rejecting the heat from the space, they'll actually be rejecting that heat into rooms that are calling for heating. So what it does, it keeps the compressor from running at 100% capacity pretty much 90% of the time. So as the demand for heating is there, rooms that are being called for cooling, they're actually being used to heat the rooms that are calling for heating, and vice versa.
And you only have a 2-inch hole that goes through the wall, or a 3-inch hole that goes through the wall?
Yes, we have a 2-inch hole that goes through the wall for the refrigerant line sets, and then we have an 8-inch hole that goes through the wall for exhaust and fresh air.
Let's take a look inside and see where those go. These refrigerant lines. Now, will they be going through here as well?
They're going to, there's another room behind us.
Oh, there's a room behind us.
Computer lab behind us.
There's a computer lab, so this works for computer labs too. Awesome.
Here's the exhaust and fresh air ductwork for the first floor for the energy recovery system. Now the energy recovery system, that'll recover up to 85% of the existing heating and cooling that's in the space. And by able to do that, we're able to save 8 tons per ERV in capacity in heating and cooling. So we were able to actually, rather than having like 40 tons of heating and cooling on the system, we're actually able to get down to like 32 tons. So again, we're exhausting air out of the space, bringing fresh air in, mixing it with the energy that's recovered from the space, and keeping a good indoor air quality environment for the students and the teachers.
So that's a pretty innovative way to do a school building like this without having to install ductwork everywhere, and being able to provide fresh air, which is important to a classroom, and get rid of the carbon dioxide and a lot of the moisture, and not just exhaust the air, losing all that heat. You're able to recover it and save the school a lot of money.
Essentially, like I said, out of, let's just say, for example, we had 40 tons of capacity in this building. Typically, to meet outside air and exhaust requirements, you may exhaust up to 30-40% of that capacity and waste it, where we're able to recover that and recoup it back into the space, where we're only essentially wasting up to 15%. So that's pretty huge. The other real trick with this is, and you touched on not having to run ductwork. The time and labor savings in running the copper piping versus trying to get ductwork throughout the entire school was huge on this project. Now we only essentially had to get 2 trunks down through the center corridor in the first floor and the second floor, and essentially 3 refrigerant piping systems. So it was a lot faster and a lot quicker to get the refrigerant piping in versus hanging all that ductwork.
And not to mention the indoor air quality issues a lot of schools have with mold growth and all the issues surrounding fresh air and clean air for students. So we'll expect to see the grade point averages increase on all the kids.
That's what we're hoping for.
Awesome. And so what do we have here? We have a transformer, and this is the electrical connection for tying into the facility.
Yeah, what we actually did is we came from the main service located down in the basement, set a separate transformer up here, and a brand new panel that's dedicated solely for all the equipment on the roof. Now this panel here will have all the Eco condensing units on, and all the new Renew Air energy recovery systems on. So this panel is solely dedicated for that purpose.
Great. Awesome. Well, let's take a look at the classrooms then.